Hey gang, welcome to Facts and Firearms. I'm Massad Ayoob, and today we're going to talk about a gun I consider to be underappreciated, the Smith Wesson CSX. The CSX came out in 2022, as I recall. Back then, when I wrote it up for American Handgunner magazine after testing it, I predicted it was going to be popular. It turned out I was kind of wrong on that. Now, another fellow took an opposite view. He did a video on YouTube calling this the gun that the internet killed. Well, it's far from being killed. It's not only still in production, but there's also the improved version now, the CSX E-Series. Here's the story. The gun came out, as I said, in 2022. Some reviewers that I have great respect for hated the darn thing. Now, I loved it, but the reason for that difference is we shoot the gun differently. What you have with this, it's a single-action semi-automatic. Proper carry is cocked and locked, hammer back, ready to fire. It's going to be between 6 and 7 pound trigger pull, and the manual safety engaged. The manual safety is ambidextrous, as is the slide stop, and it's very ergonomic, just like on the Colt 1911. You have the advantage with this that you can leave the safety locked when you're manipulating the slide, in my opinion, another safety feature. Now, where the beef came from, some people like to, when they're shooting, ride the link or ride the sear. What that means is they fire the shot. As the pistol cycles itself, the disconnector keeps it from going full auto, of course. The trigger in most semi-autos does not have to come all the way forward for the next shot, the way it would with a double-action revolver. Usually, you need just far enough forward to reset the internal sear. You may hear the tick that I'll feel, and at that point, it's ready to shoot, and you can fire the shot. However, with this particular gun, what happens is, at that point, what you think is the sear resetting is actually the firing pin safety doing its job. And now you try to pull the trigger and nothing happens, and you have a dead trigger. Two of the reviewers that I greatly respect, Chris at Honest Outlaw and my friend who calls himself Hickok 45, both shoot that way and both hated this gun for that reason. Didn't bother me because I learned a long time ago, under stress, one element of fight or flight response is vasoconstriction. The body redirects blood flow away from the extremities and into the internal organs to fuel the furnace for extreme survival exertion. If you ever saw a scared Caucasian go deathly pale, you are witnessing vasoconstriction in action. How it affects the hands is as the blood leaves the hands, we lose our sense of touch. And what we found was a whole lot of folks trying to ride the sear, bang, fingers come forward, but the flexors are stronger than the extensors and strength is increasing at the same time dexterity is going down the toilet, and they're wondering why their gun won't go bang. So I learned to, and I teach, let the trigger come all the way forward. I call it trigger weld, like you're running a double-action revolver. Let it come all the way forward, but don't take your finger off. And that way, you, like as with riding the sear, you avoid trigger slap, which is the finger comes all the way off, comes back with impact, and it jerks the gun off target. So for me, it was no problem, and it became part of my regular concealed carry wardrobe, if you will, because with advanced age, I've got a lot of sciatica, and carrying a heavy pistol on my hip where I did all my life has now become almost excruciating. This little guy is 21 ounces, like the old Colt Detective Special Snub-Nose 38, but instead of 6 rounds of 38, it has 10 to 13 rounds of full power 9mm. Well, Smith & Wesson listens to its customers. Internal changes were made, and in 2025, this gun came out, the CSX E-Series. The improvements include, they listen to the Honest Outlaw and Hickok 45. Now when you shoot, as the slide runs, You can come forward till you feel that little tick, and you've got the shot, just like most semi-auto pistols. What they've also done with this, I can't say the trigger feels smoother. It was a good trigger on the first gun and a good trigger on this one. Still has the ambidextrous slide stop and the ambidextrous safety. They now have, in addition to the 3.1-inch barrel of the original, which I preferred for versatility, this 3.6-inch barrel. When I say versatility, this is a pocket-sized gun, and I want to be able to use it from the pocket. I have a Vetter pocket locker holster for it. And basically the advantage you have with this type of auto pistol in the pocket, if you're carrying a typical striker-fired semi-auto, you're going to have a square, blocky area right here at the back of the slide. And as you come out of a trouser pocket, that often will tend to snag and stall the draw. Here, cocked and locked, see that streamlined angle there? And as it's coming out, I have tried to catch it on the pocket, and it doesn't catch. I found I don't have that many rounds yet through the E-Series, but with a whole lot of rounds through a whole lot of hands with this little gun, I have yet to experience the first malfunction. I carry it with plus P, which with the short barrel is important to get expansion with the extra power, and occasionally plus P plus. Now, normally the plus P plus ammunition is so hot, it's not recommended for guns this size. The reason is the small, narrow, light slide that conceals so well. The really hot loads run it so fast. The increased slide velocity is such that often the magazine spring cannot keep up with it. And every now and then the slide will cycle so rapidly that the magazine didn't have time to get the next cartridge up to the feed ramp, and your next shot is a click instead of a bang, which on a self-defense gun would be unacceptable. One of my favorite loads, the Winchester 127 grain plus P plus Ranger T, runs at 1,250 feet per second out of a service pistol. That's only 100 foot-seconds slower than 357 SIG, so that's a major slide velocity. My little CSX still handles it, and frankly, unless my wrist is bent or something, I can't tell the difference in the recoil when I'm shooting fast. So the gun has a lot going for it. About the only critique that I have is that with the 10-round magazines and the short butt original gun, with all 10 in it, if the slide is forward, you have to really pound it into the gun to get it in place. That's going to put additional pressure on the inside of the slide that can slow the slide down. And for that reason, or if I have to do a tactical reload, for that reason I download the magazine by one. The new gun comes with a 12-round magazine, a 15-round magazine, and if you want to leave that in place, there's a little sleeve that brings it to the same diameter as the grip, one of these, or a 17-round magazine. Woo! Among other things, if you're traveling and you're not in a 10-round magazine state, you can carry it with the short magazine in place for concealment, and when you get home or to the hotel room, simply tack load out, swap in the larger magazine, since when the gun is staged, when you're asleep, concealment's no longer a problem. So this gun has a whole lot going for it, and now more than ever, very few downsides. Adapts well to the hand with the removable grip shells here. And I found it particularly useful. Current retail is suggested retail is $6.99, which puts it right in the ballpark of most of the popular micro-compact pistols. It has become one of my favorites among the micro-compacts, and I think if you give one a try, it may just do that for you too. So, no matter what you hear on the internet, best bet, go down to a gun shop or a range that has them for rental. Shoot for yourself, see for yourself. I think once you've done that, you may be as impressed as I was. I hope you found it useful. I hope you'll subscribe and throw us a like or two. and ring the bell so we can notify you of upcoming content. See you later.